Hi guys, Tuhon Bill McGrath here. I want to give you a brief overview of the guard positions from 3 different draws in the Bowie section of my Learning Through Comparisons course. Now this course is not the traditional Bowie versus Bowie dueling course. It's based on both my 48 years in the tertiary system and 20 years as a defensive tactics instructor for my department. So a lot of this really comes from, especially the draw and guard positions. The first two comes from my experience as a range officer for my department teaching pistol work. So basically you have 2 sections here. You have an empty hand technique, and then you want to use the same gross motions in your knife technique. So in empty hand work, if he surprises me, I'm caught off guard and I can't evade the attack. If I see something come to my head, I'm going to charge that, try to get my left arm out, blocking it or hitting it as best I can, and just smack the hell out of his head in the nose, trying to throw him back and get him offline, and then draw my primary weapon, right? When I take this into Bowie knife work, I'm going to say the start position here is going to be on the, like a drop leg holster, so it's exposed and it's not concealed carry, although there are places in the United States where you can conceal carry if you have a concealed carry weapons permit. That weapons category is kind of open-ended and does carry knives. But anyway, and again, a lot of law enforcement can carry whatever they want in terms of blades anyway. So when I transition to a Bowie knife version of that technique, he comes in, I'll shield or guard and try to catch this as best I can, and then draw the knife and come in from here. And my first guard position is on the hip with the hand touching the hip, because your hand can carry whatever size knife it is. The knife will be beyond your belt. And the idea is you want to know where those cross guards are, especially with a Bowie. You don't want to get your cross guard stuck in your suspenders or your pocket or whatever. So if the hand is on the hip, then you're less likely to get your blade caught on target. And then from there, you can go up and deliver the attack. Or if you can just clear that, you can step offline to give yourself more time to assess. Guard position 2 is after you've cleared the holster and you've indexed off your hip by touching that. You see you have more time, or you've pushed him back. You go ahead and extend this up to about 75% of its reach. Now that your arm is in your visual field, you drop your left hand onto your wrist. This acts both to give you more force and thrust and cutting. Also acts kind of like a medieval shield, a buckler shield, to protect your wrist. If I come in and cut him and he cuts to my wrist, that is a devastating cut. If there's nothing protecting that, it could end the fight right there. But if I thrust with the hand, my left hand guarding my wrist, I have some protection. Obviously you don't want to get cut at all, but if you're going to be at this range, you might as well have some protection on your hand. And this range, this guard, is good for close quarter work. You know, he comes in, I could parry from here and counter cut, and I have some force on that for my parries and attacks to his blade. Guard position 2, though, is really, I think of as a transitory position. It's good for, let's say, escorting your weapon hand up to its final position, which is your preferred guard, which is the high guard for me. I like this type of guard where I'm outside of his range. I don't like, the standard guard here, which works very well in a dueling position, or with especially longer blades like a rapier. But for a Bowie knife under like a criminal assault, if this is your only weapon, I would much rather have you stand back here if you have the room and hack at his range and try to get a cut. If he extends out, try to get a cut in his weapon hand at range rather than going for a primary thrust. Okay, in addition to the strong side leg carry, the other positions I teach are what's called the cavalry draw, and this came from, I believe, post-Civil War. U.S. cavalry was carrying a saber on their right side in a cross draw format, but the Army in Infant Wisdom decided they're going to have the guys carry their revolvers cross draw for a left hand draw, being that they decided the revolvers would be the secondary weapon. Of course, the guys in the field didn't really want to do that. So they learned how to draw the pistol, even though it's butt forward, to catch it and then come out and draw from here. So I'll go through the same process of our 3 guards from the cavalry draw, and how to do this safely so you're not passing the point across your body and stabbing yourself potentially. And then draw to position 2. Another note on position 2, you notice I'm relatively low. I have the point towards his eyes, but my hand is basically centered around his waist. And what I want to be able to do is see his waist. If he drops down and he draws a pistol, I want to know that, and I might have to charge in no matter what the blade is doing. So I want to have visual access to his waist, or the waist of the people around me. If I come up high and have this right in his face, like you're, putting a pistol at his head, you tend to lose vision, a large percentage of what's going on in the environment. So I'll start it here in position 2, or guard 2. And then, of course, guard 3 is where you'd rather fight, and I'll drop back into this extension here, because the buoys are heavy enough that you can actually, take out an arm with a buoy. In the smaller blades, in the church, very often if we both have the same grip on a small blade, you'll see me fight with the left leg forward. But that's because the smaller blades are not really a fight ender. You can't cut off an arm with that. And then the other positions would be left side carry, either on a drop leg holster or, in a cross draw. And a lot of people will do this if they have a firearm on their right hip. Normally I do. I have a pistol on the right side. A lot of guys who are hunting or law enforcement will have a firearm on their right hip, so they'll carry their big blade on the left hip. And you say, well, a guy's attacking you with a knife, why don't you just draw the pistol? What I usually do is teach this as a weapon retention tool, same way we do in law enforcement or CCW classes. I tell the guys, the pistol is there to protect you, but the knife is there to protect the pistol, or your control over the pistol. So we'll have drawing from there with the idea of he's trying to grab your pistol, you're securing that, and then how do you use the blade? How do you draw the blade to convince him you should let go of your firearm? So that's a brief overview of the draw and guard structures in the Bowie knife in my Learning Through Comparisons class. Thank you.